Rishi Sunak has defended police powers used during the coronation despite backlash over the treatment of those poor wee protesters who were in the back of the van and they were arrested.
Amen.
When their day was spoilt.
We know your views.
They would have had their deck chairs and their bunting all ready to sit there, and then there was nasty policemen took them away and spoilt their little protest, their little celebration that was going on.
The new Public Order Act allows officers to stop and search anyone on suspicion of planning to cause disruption. So let's speak to former Met Police Detective John Taylor. Those are Eamon's views. What are your views on the, first of all, arrest of specifically the 6 that hadn't done anything and didn't have anything pertaining to arrest on them?
Hadn't done anything yet.
Yes. Very interesting point. And then the apology from the Metropolitan Police.
Yes, morning Isabel, morning Eamon. I'm pretty similar in many ways, and it was nice to see Commissioner Rowley come out and say it was unfortunate. That's his word, and I sort of agree with it, because when you start to look at the new powers that were put in place, they were actually used very effectively and very correctly. And what a lot of people will be upset about, or especially the protesters, is that they weren't given the chance to protest. Well, a lot were. And, of course, the information came into the police that there may be some who were looking to disrupt far more than just peacefully demonstrate. So the powers are put in place because of the information that came in about possibly fake stewards that were carrying paint or rape alarms to cause that disruption. And that's exactly what the bill is meant to put in place, to make sure this type of disruption that we've seen in the past on the M25, at the Grand National, and all the other events, this is what we wanted to stop, and that's exactly what the police did. And I think it was a very successful police operation.
Except they're now going to have to go cap in hand and kiss everybody's feet and say, we were very bad and we shouldn't have done that. And there seems to be this whole, John, this campaign brewing to say these poor protesters, they weren't protesters, these poor celebratory people who'd come into London.
I don't care what their views were. They have a right to express their views, because we live in a free country and we believe in free speech. Otherwise, we'll be under Xi Jinping.
Why do we care? Why do we care how they were treated?
Because I don't want to live in a dictatorship, and I want to be able to speak out against someone I disagree with. Your little son was
sitting there in the crowd. If they had have spread mace on a horse or set off an alarm and a horse trampled into the crowd or whatever, I suspect your view would be totally different.
Do I want free speech curtailed so my son can have a nice day out? No.
Do you know what? Couldn't care less. Who wakes up in the morning? John, here's my point. Who wakes up in the morning of all the things, maybe I can't pay my food bill, maybe my electricity's gone off, I might have a flat tyre in my car, whatever, but I'll be thinking, the monarchy, it shouldn't exist. That's the, I just can't get in the head of people that is their priority in life.
I understand, and I actually agree with you both, but I do believe in a right to express your opinion. But one thing we've got to know now is that we've never lived in a society that allows us now to complain basically about anything. And because of the platforms like social media, you tend to find there's other people out there with the same sort of reasoning or understanding that you may have, or your complaints, as you say, Eamon. But I agree. I mean, people wake up and think, well, that's what I'm going to do. It just seems surely there's other things, especially when it comes down to the coronation. The reason I say that is the coronation, as a lot of people have said, is once in a lifetime. So when you've got the Grand National happens every year, they'll say, oh, well, we'll target that next year, we'll target that next year. That coronation was once, and 99.8% of everybody wanted to see the coronation. They didn't want to see the protesters. So for me, there's sort of a time and a place when have your voice heard. There was no need for it to happen at the coronation. And bear in mind, we're not just talking about anti-monarchists here. You had Just Stop Oil. You had Insulate Britain. Everybody taking part of using that platform to get their voice heard. Well, perhaps that wasn't the time to do it for the coronation. But yet, in this country, we don't have a dictatorship. People have the right to voice their opinions. What they don't have is a thing to disrupt. It wasn't that long ago that we saw that horse, that police horse, sort of stampede down the road, and that poor police officer went straight into a road sign, injuring herself. That's what can happen.
Yeah, I remember that. That was during the Black Lives Matter protests, and there was a huge number of injured police officers. That was awful. Look, Sadiq Khan, very unhappy with the Metropolitan Police. He's asked for an investigation into this. It does feel like every other day the Metropolitan Police are in trouble for something or other. Where do you think that will go? I mean, where do you think an investigation will land on the balance of all of this, given that someone like David Davis, a Conservative Party member, has also said that these new rules under this Public Order Act are actually just a bit too crude and need finessing?
Yeah, I think he's wrong, because when you've got this type of disruption occurring on the M25, as I say, or national events, you're going to need these type of powers put in place for the police to be able to do something. Because until then, we can't. If somebody is going to lock themselves onto a fence or a road, etc., with glue. Again, what people must understand is the police, even here, have operated to what they call that mnemonic plan. They were proportionate, legal, they're accountable, and it's necessary. The police are used to this. The police are used to scrutiny. The police are used to being criticised the whole time. But at the end of the day, they have a job to do. And the new Public Order Bill 2023 was put in place by Parliament, and it was used effectively by the police. So I don't think anything really will come of this, apart from, as we always hear, there's a lot of lessons to be learned, and they will be learned. But no, I think the police acted exactly well. And what must be said, we talk about the Metropolitan Police. I'm very fortunate to know other forces. I was proud of the fact that you had Essex, Hertfordshire, Kent, all these other forces working alongside the Met. They're actually making the arrests together. That's not really seen. So I think it's, congratulations to all the police officers that took part.
John, thanks for your views. You've been listening to John Taylor, former Metropolitan Police detective there. Thank you, John.